So, good evening, Dr. Timi Oyebode, and good evening, ladies. And I see Mac just joined us. I hope everyone is having a good evening and having a great summer. So, as you would know, this topic, mental health for youth, is a very crucial one because some of us at some point in time would have experienced bullying or other social pressures that kids or teenagers experience at certain points in their lives. So, because as we discussed in, I think, first or second session, we had mentioned that at some point we're going to get an expert to come in and talk to you before you go back to school to help you understand how to, you know, manage yourself when you face one of those crises and you're not sure who to talk to, what to do, just not know what to do. So, fortunately, our facilitator is an immigrant, and so she understands, and she has immigrant kids as well. So she understands the challenges that every one of us on this platform has. So, I'd like to introduce Dr. Timi Oyebode to come in and then take over the floor. So, Dr. Timi, you're welcome. We're happy to have you tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So good evening again, everyone. And it's a great pleasure to be with us. I know there's a lot when it comes to this topic of mental health, from a lot of misconceptions to what are true, what do we really need to know, and all of that. So before we go on, I just want to say a very big thank you to Christine and the whole team, everyone that had made it possible. I think it's necessary for us to have this conversation. And like I told us earlier, there are so many misconceptions. So I would want to go ahead, let me see where to share my screen so that we hit on right. And as she had also mentioned, if you can put on your camera, it's going to be very helpful for me. Remember, we're still talking about mental health. And sometimes having real life person to talk to, someone you can see, would also go a long way. Okay, good. So we're talking about mental health and well-being. And in all, like I said earlier, there's a lot of misconceptions, there's a lot of things that we do not understand. And particularly for those of us young people, being able to begin to put perspective into this and understand better what does this mean for us. That's what the conversation is this evening. And it's not just a teaching session. I always want people to ask questions. One, majorly because when it comes to topics like this, no one knows it all. And it manifests in different ways for different persons. So what could manifest for you? I could tell you today and I say, oh, these are the symptoms to look out for. Oh, these are the things to guard against. The same symptoms can be used to refer to different things. Depends on the context, the individual, and the circumstances surrounding the persons. So those are things that determine what happens with us and to us. So just come along with me, and I really want you to prepare to ask me questions as we get to the end of the slide. I'm also here to learn. All right, so now I understand that our program itself, it comprises of many things, including us building self-esteem, embracing our identity, and developing resilience in the face of mental health challenges, social barriers, and cultural barriers. So it's not surprising that our leaders and mentors thought, okay, it's a good one. We should have a mental health talk one of these days so that we can deal with mental health challenges, especially the ones that addresses things like low self-esteem, anxiety, depression, trauma. Okay. And of course, when we say social or cultural barriers, we're also talking about bullying, discrimination, loneliness. So you know that there's actually a difference between loneliness and being alone. And many times, especially for us young people, the clarity of how to explain that you are actually in the midst of so many people. You have your family, you have friends, you have people, and you can also still feel lonely at the same time. And understanding their emotions or those kind of dynamics becomes the challenges that we have to face. Peer pressure is another one. And then language difficulties, for example, if you're not a French speaker, and you are in the context where French is being spoken, you begin to wonder. I remember saying to my daughter the other day, I said, when you are talking and speaking French, when nobody understands you, I hope they won't think that you are either speaking in tongues or that you are running crazy. The two options, where you speak and you think people do not understand you, that's how you begin to feel. Now, those dynamics also that influences our mental health. Your identity confusion. Now, when it comes to this issue of identity confusion, it's a whole lot of topic on its own. It's probably something that we would put for another day, for another time, where we begin to address this, particularly for many of us who are immigrants coming into the Western world, where identity is redefined in so many ways, including sexual identity, including personality identity, including even cultural identity. You know, these are things, and bottom line is the fact that all of those things affect us as individuals, as how we see ourselves, and how we engage with the bigger community out there. Hoops, underrepresentation, intergenerational conflict, those are some of the things that we want to deal with. Now, going specifically into our topic for this evening, mental health and well-being. I want someone to tell me, remember I said it's not just a teaching session or just me talking for, I don't know for how long. I want feedback. So I would want someone to tell me, what do you know about mental health? What do you think mental health is all about? Anyone? Just give us an idea. See, no one is wrong, and believe me, there's actually no answer that is wrong. What do you think mental health is all about? Anybody?
Can I answer?
Yes, please, go ahead. Is that David?
Yes, it is.
Okay, go on. Thank you.
I believe mental health to be an overall emotional or psychological well-being of the human, state of mind. It's like, for some people believe that you can only be abused physically, but you can also be abused mentally, because most times mental abuse can be more, how do I put this, more dangerous than physical abuse, because the physical abuse, at least we can see it, we can treat it. Mm-hmm. But if you don't know, like, you are mentally abused, you can't, get to treat that, and you start suffering for some issues, and then, that like that, then you see some people committing suicide and stuff like that.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you. That's a very good one. And I like the example you gave. It just reminds me quickly of this analogy I usually give, that it's easier when you tell someone, oh, I have a headache. Imagine you telling your parents, your friends coming into school, and then you say, guys, I have a headache. Oh my goodness, you're likely going to get some concerned looks. You're going to get, oh, are you okay? Have you taken PRN? Oh, do you need Tylenol? You're going to get all those kind of reactions. In fact, maybe by noon of the same day, you might have somebody ask you, oh, how's your head now? Right? But yes. Imagine coming into school or class or a meeting, and then you say, oh, guys, I have a heartache today. Someone just broke my heart. What do you think people are likely going to say?
Like, you're going to try to, like, comfort me, and, like, first of all, they're going to, like, try to ask who did it or stuff like that. Then try to, like, comfort me, like, that, we should, I should not, like, take it too much. Like, yes.
Good. And I'm sure those people asking you are people in your circle, and I'm sure they are excellent, wonderful people. Believe me, averagely, the most likely response you're going to get is someone laughing at you first. Like, oh boy, which heartache? Who broke your heart? As in, the most immediate response you're going to get from the average friend, family member, or someone is like, Okay, come on. And then maybe by evening, you're still sulking, like you've said. Maybe they now said, oh, okay. Oh, okay. Is it your friend that broke your house? Okay, don't worry. That's how people behave. They'll say, move on. Now, and then maybe by evening, you're still carrying strong face. Someone is likely to say, why have you not moved on? Like, what's the big deal? Move on. Like, the way people take physical pain, physical ache, it's taken more as if it's something bigger. And neglecting that our heart also has measures of pain. And there is no difference between physical pain or mental pain. The brain doesn't know the difference. Pain is pain. Whether the pain came physically or the pain came emotionally. Examples of emotional pains could scale through betrayal, hurt, someone saying something that hurt you, someone disappointing you, maybe an exam you prepared so well for and it didn't come out well. Emotional pain could range into, you tried to achieve something and it didn't get to you, maybe somebody else got it, or you tried to make friends with somebody and the person is proving difficult or ignoring you. Those things can cause emotional pain. As even simple as somebody using some maybe even racist words or slogans could give you emotional pain. And it could look to the other people like, what's the big deal? It's just a comment. But we cannot measure. In fact, do you know that ordinarily misplacing your phone, like I can't find your phone for a day, can cause you a lot of emotional pain. And that's amazing. Sometimes you wonder, why would just a pencil? Someone just misplaced a pencil and the person is crying and wailing, and different things can cause emotional pain. But we need to be aware, and it's important that for us to understand the concept of mental health, we need to fully understand that the mind doesn't know the difference between physical pain or emotional pain. Pain is pain. I'm going to show you a picture now, and I want you to tell me from that picture, would you think is suffering from a form of mental illness, or would you think has a good mental health?
I don't really know what to say, because the man he looks like a beggar, like someone that like someone that lost it.
Okay.
Yeah. The picture down here looks like someone that's like in deep thought.
Okay.
And this looks like someone that maybe wayward, or tries to just don't like live is socially with the world or something like that. So
okay.
I don't really know what to whether to say. Like three of them are suffering from something sharp.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, thank you, David. That was just awesome. Okay. Any other person? Tell us, what do you think of these three pictures? I still have Emmanuel, you're there.
I think that like the man down.
Good. Yeah.
The man down is is thinking, is in deep thought.
Is in deep thought, okay.
He has mental, like he's suffering mentally. And the woman, I think like she's also suffering mentally.
Okay.
But the beggar, I think, is like that because of circumstance.
Okay.
Like he might not be suffering mentally, but I think it's like that because of maybe circumstance.
The circumstance. Okay, that's a beautiful perspective. Okay. Any other person, a female this time around? Let me hear you. Okay.
So for the guy at the bottom,
okay,
Paul said he seems to be thinking, and he also has the dreads on his head. I know that people perceive dreads in different ways, and it could be different things specifically to the individual that has the dreads. But when you meet a person with the dreads, the first thing that comes to your head is not usually they're perfectly fine, especially in the setting that you meet them. The lady, she's obviously going through some, what's the word? Self-identity issues.
Oh, okay.
And she's quite confused and trying to fit into some logo that the world has for her. And it's usually people who are seeking some kind of attention that dress this way.
Okay.
That's why I said she has self-identity issues. And then the last man has obviously been through a lot. And for somebody to get to this point of dressing and looking like this, he has obviously lost some part of his mental health and has faced trauma. So you look like someone that needs to be rehabilitated to get back to normal.
Okay, thank you. I love all three perspectives because, you're able to give it to us the understanding that looking at mere pictures, we can denote, connote, explain, just looking at someone and able to say, okay, this person looks okay, does not look okay, based on maybe our cultural perspective, based on the level of knowledge and information we have, based on our own understanding. Okay, but that's the amazing thing about mental health. That's simply the amazing thing, because many times you may be wrong. That you look at, and I love it when Emmanuel was able to tell us the guy that looks like a beggar in rags may not even have mental illness. And that's amazingly, that could be the truth. Because if you're familiar with so many actors and filmmakers, you're going to meet someone on the road dressed this way, and you would think he has mental health issue, and actually he's just making a skit, or he's just making a movie, right? And you may see a guy like the guy down below, looking all clean, looking like he's a serious guy, he's got a job, and he may be the one that has the mental health issues. And these are dynamics for us to begin to understand that mental illnesses or mental health challenges does not appear on the face. Before, the concept that we've all had, is okay when you look at someone, like if we're going to take the picture again, look at the lady to the left and the guy to the right of her. You say, okay, this one is in rags. This one is also in rags. This one in rags, but the rags look clean. This one is in rag, the rag looks dirty. Oh, okay, I think this one has mental health problem. This one, okay, maybe she's just doing fashion. That's what we might think. But just like Sharon was able to put it in, that what if there is identity crisis or issue going on here? Now, identity problems, issues also could be a form of mental challenge. We're going to explore more into some of this, but I just want you to see this picture and I want you to begin to think out of the box, because when you meet your friends, when you meet people, and we're talking about mental health, you will be the ambassador out there or the advocate of mental health. Letting people know that it's not by appearance, it's not by looks, it's not by what you think, because someone could look all together and they may be battling with serious level of depression, serious level of one issue or the other. And someone else may look all tattered, all asking for help, and there are degrees, there are levels. Sometimes many people some would get to this point of this guy that is in rags, walking around, possibly even homeless, and is on the street. And we say, oh, yeah, that guy is mad, he's mad. Many do not get to that level. Why? Because they have family, have friends, people around them to keep them curtailed. But does not mean many are actually okay. And this is why we begin to explore some of these conversations. Let's go on. Now, what is mental health? Mental health refers to a state in which an individual is functioning at a satisfactory level. I think David was the one that made reference to that functionality. He made reference to when an individual is able to perform at an expected range. Now, this expectation is usually community-based. One, look at it, functioning at a satisfactory level of emotional, spiritual, and behavioral adjustment that fits into the environment. That's key. Fit into the environment which they coexist with others. That is, for us to begin to say someone has mental challenges, we need to be able to look at the environment and consider what we're seeing in view of that environment. So a very practical example where we find ourselves, many of us are here in New Brunswick, possibly even St. John, and then it's summer period, right? I don't know, how many of us have seen maybe girls going around with just a bra top and a bum shorts? Have we seen that?
I think I've seen that.
You've seen that? Okay. So take it back to Nigeria. Now, here in St. John, is that normal? Is that okay?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's summer. It's hot. Right? So it is okay.
Yes.
It's normal in the environment. So now let's take it to Nigeria. Lagos, even Lagos, it's going to be crazy to see some of the dresses we see here in Lagos, right? But let's even go further. Take it down to somewhere like Ibadan or to Anambra or to Kano, you know, and imagine on the streets of Kano or Kaduna, a girl says, oh, it's hot, it's very hot, and I want to go out, you know, and I want to just go in my bra top and a bum short. What do you think the people are going to say?
That she didn't have proper background, like home training.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, what else can they likely say?
She wants to show off her body.
Okay, what else are they likely to say?
They can conclude she's a prostitute.
Okay, what else are they likely to say?
They could say that like she doesn't have any clothes to wear.
Oh, okay, like maybe she's poor, she's, you know, and all of that. There's so many things they could say, including the fact that maybe she's mentally sick. Or people could look at her and say, oh, for you to go out half naked, like something must be wrong with you, something must be wrong with your mind, right? But that may not be. That is defined by the environment. Imagine someone, oh, fantastic. Even there even in St. John, imagine someone just walking out of the house in bikini and just walking on the road and just walking and going. People are going to keep looking, turning back, looking. But if the person wears a bikini at the beachfront, nobody's going to bother, nobody's going to look towards, because you are in the right place, the right dressing, the right behavior, right? But if someone behaves in a particular way in the wrong place, it begins to give us signs that, oh, is everything okay with this person? Very funny also is if you consider the way our African people are being considered when they talk. Okay? Most of the time, especially our men out there in the community, they speak and it seems like their voice is loud and they talk loud. And then I hear things like, oh, why is that guy shouting? Is he hungry? I think he has anger issues. That will be said here in this community. But in the community where we came from back home, people talk loud. Maybe because we use a lot of generator anyway. And the noise from the generator makes you to shout so that you get heard. Or is it the downfall drivers in Lagos? You know? But people talk loud. And when people do that, it seems like, is this person okay? A very practical example of that also, I think myself and we were at the service New Brunswick recently, and a lady was attending to people and she was speaking so loud that everybody was like, is she okay? Why is she talking that way? Because of the environment. And I need you to really begin to understand the concept of mental health, particularly in context of environment. Let's go on. The environment in which you coexist with others. If whatever you're doing, your emotional reaction, your spiritual reaction, your behavioral reaction aligns with what is expected in the environment you find yourself, in the community you coexist with others, you may be said to have a good mental health. Now, there is a difference between mental health and mental illness. Almost every one of us, not even almost, every one of us has a level of mental health. It's just the same way we talk about physical health. Okay? So we talk about physical health, we talk about spiritual health, we talk about mental health. All three are normal. There's nothing wrong in you saying, oh, my mental health, because it's part of your health. Mental health is different from mental illnesses. The same way we have physical health, and then we have physical illnesses. And physical illnesses, remember, is in different categories too. Someone could have malaria. That's totally different from someone who has ulcer. And it's totally, again, different from someone who has typhoid. It's totally different from someone who has maybe even cancer, right? Different form of illnesses. They are not all the same. The same thing applies to mental health and mental illnesses. So your general state of well-being and the state of mind that should be looked after, that the state of how well you are mentally is what we call mental health. And mental illness refers to anything that disrupts your mental state and interrupts how you feel, think, communicate, and behave. So once there is a disruption to your regular form of thinking, maybe you just realize that your head is banging, you're thinking too much, or you realize you're not communicating the way you used to communicate before, or you don't used to behave this way, you start behaving this way, that begins to question, is there a level of mental illness? And remember, like I said, just like physical health has different degrees of illnesses, the same thing with mental illnesses. Betrayal, hurt, pain, like we established earlier, that could lead to some level of illnesses. It's just like having physical illnesses where you have infections, when bacteria, the same thing. Hunger, bitterness, unhappiness, different emotions can begin to lead on to a disruption of your mental state. And that is why when we talk about mental illnesses, we begin to look at, okay, what level are you at? What level are you at? Now, also, I need you to understand as young people that mental illnesses does not mean you are far gone. Remember the picture I showed you earlier? You remember the guy with the dreads on his head? He could be having level of mental illnesses, but it necessarily does not mean he's going to be walking on the streets in tattered clothes. Mental illnesses could range from depression, could range from anxiety, self-esteem issues, and so many other things like that. By the way, hope you know that depression is not a slang. It's not just a mood thing. It's not something you say, oh, okay, I'm depressed. Because it is an illness, a form of mental illness that could be diagnosed medically. And whatever you're going through per time, you want to be able to ask yourself, where am I on this continuum of mental health? Am I medium? Am I mild? Am I moderate? Am I operating at optimal level? If you look at my screen now, you could see where you have optimal mental wellness, when you are bubbling, when you're fine, everything is okay. That on that continuum, you have at 100%. You may have some level of mild distress. Mild distress could range from maybe conversation with your dad and mom that didn't go well. Maybe trying to get into a school admission and you didn't get admission. Maybe something that hurt your feeling today, but it didn't last more than today. In many cases, mild distress, you can even overcome them on your own. And that's why many people don't know that there was a mental illness, because you were able to move on. Like they would say, the guy broke your heart, the girl broke your heart, move on. You were probably able to move on. When it's mild distress, you are likely to still be able to keep yourself going. Mental illnesses becomes obvious once you begin to have moderate distress. Moderate distress means it begins to affect your general well-being. Things that happens, you realize maybe you like playing games before, now you don't even want to play. Now you don't want to talk to anybody. Now you just want to be on your own. Now you don't want to eat. You have a particular kind of food you like, but now you don't want it again. Once you start having moderate distress, the kind of distress that is obvious to other people, then we could say your mental illness is getting more acute. And of course, when it gets to 0 level, then it's far gone down. Warning signs to look out for. Diagnosing mental illness isn't often straightforward, okay? And it can't really be tested the same way you could do like body sugar level, you could do this. At the same time, I encourage everyone periodically to go in to meet a professional and have assessment done on you. Recently we had a conversation with some parents on, do teenagers have mental illness and all? Yes. Do parents believe, maybe African parents struggle to believe that there could be mental stress. But just like I've explained to you today, and that's why I told you earlier that many of us are going to become advocates after this meeting tonight, to begin to explain to people that mental illness does not mean someone is mad or crazy. It's a continuum. That means it's levels. Common signs and symptoms that you could see that could tell you something is wrong with someone, even if they're looking all okay physically, is feeling very sad or withdrawn for more than 2 weeks. Now you see, the duration matters. You can't say because you're sad today and then you conclude, oh, I'm depressed. No, it doesn't work that way. You can say, oh, I'm unhappy, I don't like this house, I don't like the people here. That means I have mental illness. No. For it to be an illness, it has to be something that has kept you, that has been there for a long period, at least average of 7 days to 14 days. That this thing is consistent. You just realize that for 4 days, 5 days, 6 days at a stretch, you know you're just feeling sad, perpetually sad. Okay? Or you find out that you have this notion to harm yourself or to end your life, or you find yourself always thinking, I should just die. Like, I just want to die. Or you find yourself oftentimes thinking of ideas of how can I die? You know, like having what we call suicidal ideations. All right? That could be a sign to tell us there is a level of mental illness here. Severe, out of control, risk-taking behaviors that causes harm to self or to others. Someone that just decides to get on a motorbike and you don't have a license to drive or something, and then you start zooming around, and you're told that, oh, you could injure somebody else, and you say, it doesn't matter, I don't care. It could be a sign. Sudden overwhelming fear for no reason. You just have your heart pumping. You just realize that you're afraid. Sometimes, even with a racing heart or physical discomfort, some could even have stomach ache. You just realize you just suddenly have stomach pain or back pain or headaches that you really cannot trace to anything. Even if they ask you, what's wrong? When did this start? You can't trace it. It just comes suddenly. Okay? Physical body pain that suddenly comes without any trace could be a sign to tell you, let's explore this. Significant weight loss or weight gain is another thing to look at. Significant weight loss or weight gain, especially within a short period of time. Seeing, hearing, or believing things that aren't real. You know that, okay, it's like I'm hearing voices. Someone is telling me this. Oh, something said I should do this. Okay? That could be a sign, all right? Excessive use of alcohol or drugs. Oftentimes, because people, many of your friends, young people that you see doing some form of drugs and alcohol, they use it to suppress some emotional pain. Remember I told us earlier, pain is pain. And when pain comes, you find people trying to find a way to get out of the pain. Many do not know healthy ways. And that's part of what we're discussing this evening. Healthy ways to deal with your pain so that it doesn't become a distress. Once it gets to that level where you begin to look for substance to suppress the pain you're feeling, you might actually be having signs of mental illness. Drastic changes in your mood, in behavior, in your personality, or sleeping habits. I'm going to pause a little bit on sleeping habits and ask this question here. House. How many hours do you think it's okay to sleep? You can use yourself as an example. Let me hear from you. How many hours do you sleep?
Like 7 or 8 hours.
7 or 8 hours. Okay, that's Emmanuel. Okay. Any other person? How many hours do you sleep?
8 hours.
8 hours too? Okay. Any other person?
5, 6
Um,
hours.
Okay, someone said 6. I didn't get that with the person.
Oh, sorry, it's me. I said 5, 6 hours.
5, 6 hours. Okay. Okay.
Medically, it's
No, not medically now. I want to know your own.
Oh, mine. For me, it depends because
Okay.
it's not all the time I can be sleeping 7 or 8 hours. You know, you have
Okay.
to know your body. So, so for someone like me, or sometimes 7, 8 hours.
Okay.
Then sometimes it can be 5 hours. Then like if I've done 5 hours now, I'll know that like the next day I need to extend it a little bit from like 8 hours to like 9 hours so that you don't like, because if you cheat, you can't cheat nature. Like if you don't sleep, you fall asleep somewhere else. So you have to
David must be he obviously must be a philosopher. You know, if you don't sleep, you fall asleep somewhere else. I love that. You know, in different areas of life, you can find yourself asleep. All right, okay. So 7 to 6 hours averagely, but sometimes you find yourself doing 5 hours. Okay, good. Hey, Ma, do you want to tell us too?
On a good day,
Yeah.
maybe like 4 to 5 hours.
Hours.
But like, kind of like David says, I'm kind of like a night owl, so I like to work like really late into the night.
Okay.
So I'll only sleep for like 3 to 4 hours, but like the next day, if I'm not working, I'll just like spend like an extra like 5 hours just in bed, like catching up on my sleep in a sense.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Sharon, what about you?
For me, it's really dependent on the season.
Okay.
Day. For example, during the school season, it could be about 6-7 hours.
Okay.
But now that it's summer, it goes for like 8 or 9. But if it's on a Sunday where I have to go to church, or if it's a day where I have to be out early, then I have to wake up, and that would be about 6-7 hours too.
Oh, okay. So season determines years. Okay. Okay, let me see. Chidima, did you tell us yours?
I think usually probably like 8 to 9 hours, but like for me, like even if I go to bed like really early, like I wake up around like the same time, like in the morning.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so I get that. So even if you end up going to bed early, you probably your body just like have already like this time you wake up in the morning, like constantly. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you all for the sincerity. I'm not sure everybody shared, but if you didn't share with us, don't worry, maybe you still share with us before we wrap up the session. Okay, but why did I pick on sleeping habits? Because sleeping habits is one major part of our mental health. When we sleep, we're giving the brain the time to rejuvenate. The major food that the brain eats is sleep. Now, there is appropriate sleep hours that is expected of us, especially as teenagers. And as young people who are growing into young adults, your body is growing, every part of you is growing. Into your 20s, into your 30s, you would be expected to be able to help your brain rest. So I know I love Kaima. Kaima was able to tell us 3 to 4 hours, and sincerely, I feel that's actually the truth. Many young people do not sleep for long, especially when they have jobs to go to the next day, or they have school. Like someone else told us, like the season determines sometimes also what is happening in their life, and maybe also the gadgets in our hands, the phone, the laptop, and keeps us awake far long into the night and taking advantage of our sleep. When you do not have sufficient sleep, like you don't have good enough sleep, it affects your mental health. Look at it this way. The nights and the days you were able to sleep for a good number of hours, the average 7-8 hours, like everyone has spoken about, you wake up the next day, you feel much better than the night you were able to sleep for just 2, 3, 4 hours. There are stages of sleep. And when we get into the sleep, the brain begins to, in fact, that's why you notice some people tell you they don't dream. The reason why they don't dream is possibly also because they do not go through the continuum of sleep. Because sleep has the timing between the first 1 hour, 2 hours. There is an image that will be formed into your mind. In fact, most of the time we do say that within those hours you are not really sleeping. But by the third, fourth hours, your brain begins to shut down little by little, and then begins to peak faintly. And that's why sometimes you are sleeping, but you can still hear things happening around you. Sometimes people, you will be like, oh, I don't know, I was sleeping, but I don't know. I had that conversation, and someone had thought you were sleeping, so you couldn't hear. But many times also, you realize that your mind is not totally asleep. And progressively, that goes on into the number of hours. That's why averagely, you're told that you could begin to have what we call deep sleep or well-rested brain, maybe from 5 hours, 6 hours. Okay? So please, if you haven't been sleeping well, you may want to look into that. You don't want to begin to struggle in a couple of years with your mental health. And if you realize another part of the sleep habit, you just suddenly realize that, you sleep 6-7 hours, you've established that, and then suddenly you start sleeping 10 hours. You start sleeping 12 hours. In fact, you could sleep the whole day. That could be a sign that something is wrong. Yes, a very big sign that something is wrong. Extreme difficulty concentrating or staying still. You realize that, when they ask you a question nowadays, you seem to forget. You realize that, you can't stay still. Like you're sitting down somewhere, your body is always, you just have to be jumpy. You have to get up, you have to go up, you have to go down. It could be a lot that way. I could see a hand. Odunlami. She loved.
Yeah,
okay.
It's me.
Thank you.
I want to ask a question.
Go on.
So you said that if someone sleeps all day, it might be a problem. What if you just find it? What if you just like sleeping, or if you find it calming to just sleep? And what if you just like sleeping?
I know, and I love to sleep too. Actually, I sleep anywhere that it's comfortable to sleep, right?
Yeah.
The challenge is this: there is an average number of sleep that is adequate for the brain. When the brain has excess of it, it's just the same way we talk about water. We say water is good for our health, right?
Yeah.
But imagine someone who is just drinking gallops and gallops of water only. It's also going to be dangerous at some point. The same thing with sleep. As good as your mind, as your brain needs good hours of sleep, excessive, long hours begins to make your brain functionality to drop. Right?
Yeah.
One thing also is that it begins to, even your ability to think or concentrate becomes reduced, because just like our body is, that's the way the brain is. It needs to be exercised, it needs to be used, it needs to be, active at some point. So if you find out that, I just want to sleep, everything I just want to sleep, you may not even understand why. It may just be an opportunity for you to begin to question some things. Does it mean you already have mental illness? No. Are you getting my point? But it's just a sign to begin to tell you, question some things. Ask yourself, what's going on? Why am I like this? If I enjoy sleeping for a period because of a season, that's fine. Maybe now we're on holiday, that's why, and the summer is here. Although, summer time is actually for you to be outdoor. It's not for you to be indoor sleeping. So, but it's just for you to question those things and ask yourself, why am I sleeping? Is my sleep, is it healthy? Is it too much? Is it okay? Once your mind tells you, because your mind won't deceive you, okay, that this is not healthy, this is getting too much, you need to then speak to someone. You need to speak to a professional. You need to speak to someone who can probably look at you properly, look at all the aspects. You see the other signs. You remember I said you can't use only one thing to determine whether it's mental illness. When we do assessment, we look at a couple of things, like most of all the things I'm listing out. Okay, we check it out. Yeah. So for someone to say there is mental illness, there must be more than one thing out of all these signs. Are you getting it now?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Did I answer your question?
Yes, you did. Thank you.
You're welcome. Oshona?
I have one question, Ma. Are you saying that it's good to sleep, but if you do it too much, it could become bad?
It could become what? Bad?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. But it's good to sleep, all right? Because your brain needs sleep, good hours of sleep. And that's why I said, if you find yourself fixated on your phone and you can't sleep on time, or you realize that you're sleeping late, it's going to affect your mental health. It's going to affect your brain in particular, right? Now, if you find yourself sleeping too much, now too much usually ranges from, when we say 10 hours, 11 hours, 12 hours, you're still sleeping. That's much. And if you realize that it didn't happen in just one day, because sometimes it could happen, maybe something happened in your life, maybe you guys traveled, you went on a journey, you came back, you're fogged out, you're tired, right? You could sleep the whole day, okay? That is not a problem, but you realize there's nothing happened in your life is regular, the same way every day, and then you realize you're sleeping 9 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. They keep waking you up, they keep telling you, oh, you're sleeping too much, right? That's a concern. That's something that is not healthy.
Thank you.
Your brain is not being exercised properly. All right? Did I answer your question?
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay. The last one on my list here is intense worries or fear that gets in the way of daily activity. Many times I've had young people say to me things like, oh, I don't know, I'm so worried. And then they say, okay, we're going to do this. And then you're like, no, I don't want to go. There is consistent fear of what would happen or what would not happen. When you find yourself always afraid, there is a level of fear that is normal, because fear is an emotion that communicates to us, that tells you danger. Like, oh, if you go on top of, you could fall, right? And then you're like, no, I don't want to climb on that tree because I could fall, right? Oh, I don't want to go into that house. They have a dog. The dog could bite me, right? Those are fears, and it's your emotions. The mind communicates to you danger. But in cases where it is obvious that there is no danger, and still yet you find yourself afraid. In cases where every other person around you cannot see any danger, there is no sense of danger, but you're still afraid. And it's not one time, it's not 2 times, it's not 3 times. You find that cycle happening again and again. That could be a sign to also look into, okay? Because that could be telling you there's more to that your fear. Good one. Depression and stress. I'm working with the time zone. Okay, good. Let's go on. We'll soon be done and we'll take more questions. 1 in 4 people globally will experience a mental health issue in their lifetime. And that's why I told us earlier that mental health and wellness, okay, is a general topic for everybody. Because whether you like it or not, 1 in 4 people is going to be sick mentally at some point or the other in their life. Do people recover from mental illnesses? Yes. Just like I told you, when it comes to physical illnesses, depends on the gravity of the mental illness. People recover from headaches, people recover from malaria, people recover from maybe even typhoid. Okay? Though there are some other things that people don't recover from. The same thing with mental illness. We have some level of mental challenges that people could go through and they would heal, they would recover. That's why we say, if you notice some of those things happening to you, you need to speak out fast. Because if you speak up early, then treatment is given, intervention is given, you deal with it, you're fine again. But if you keep it down and you keep burying it because you are ashamed, you're thinking people are going to think something about you, if you say this, people will think you're crazy, people will think this, and you keep quiet about a lot of things that are happening, that are hurting you emotionally. And it's building up and building up and building up. Then it can get to the point where you may not have control. In 2019, WHO declared burnout as a mental illness syndrome. That is to tell us that excessive tiredness, stress, could actually be a form of mental illness. When people tell you something like, oh, I'm just stressed, I tell them, no, don't joke about being stressed. Especially adults that you know. Maybe your parents, your dad, your mom. I'm stressed. All the time they are stressed. Okay? You need to let them know that being stressed repeatedly, consistently, without taking a break, without being deliberate to rest, can lead to mental illnesses. And Statistics also are beginning to show us that a lot of women struggle with depression, a lot of men struggle with suicidal ideation, and that depression is not a slang. I think I told us this earlier. Do not find yourself casually saying, oh, I think I'm depressed. Because no, depression is not a mood swing. No, it's not. It's a mental illness. And you need to understand it and not use that word casually going forward. Breaking the stigma around mental health in diverse communities. This is to tell us, like I told us earlier, that many of us are going to go out into the community and be an advocate for ourselves, for our friends, about what mental health really is all about. Like I told us earlier, I told us there is a continuum. Who remembers what the continuum, the levels in the mental illness continuum? Who remember?
You said optimal mental wellness was 100%.
Good.
Then mild distress was 70%. Then moderate distress was 40%. Then you now said mental illness was 0%.
Good. So what does that tell us again? That there is a level, and anybody could find themselves on any of that level at any time. Okay? And we need to be able to be the voice for people to know that. And remember again, like we said, it doesn't show on the face. Do you remember that? That someone is mentally stressed or mentally distressed, you may not see it on them. And that's why it's important to pay attention and begin to have this communication. Okay, we're gonna still talk about the coping strategies. I'm gonna skip that now. But I'm going to the third one, which is building healthy support system through friendships and family. Now, bottom line to any of these things that we're going to be talking about is a support system. The meeting we're having this evening is a group that has put a support system there for you. Sometimes people say to me, oh, Dr. Timi, I don't have a support system. And I tell them, look around you. There is a support system. I think someone mentioned, maybe Sharon or someone talked about the church earlier. That's a support system. Someone also mentioned about workplace. That's a support system. So there are different support systems that you would have around you. Take advantage of it. And that's why I keep saying, young people, if there's anything you're going to do for your own mental wellness, take advantage of the support system around you. Don't isolate. Isolation keeps you in a state of struggle. Isolation makes you unhealthy. And if there's anything that challenges our mental health mostly, is isolation. You remember I told you earlier that there is loneliness, there's aloneness. Do you remember? Loneliness, aloneness. Aloneness is when you are alone, right? It's totally different from loneliness. Loneliness is an emotion, is a feeling that comes even when you are in the midst of people. You have family, you have everybody around, and you're still feeling alone. You're still feeling like nobody cares. You're still feeling like nobody understands you. That's loneliness. And that's what you need to break. You must deliberately have time with family. I understand that there are different family dynamics. Some would say, oh, in my family, we don't sit down together, we don't hang out together, we don't talk, we don't do this, we don't do that, right? But you have opportunities to create other families, like friends in school, friends in the clubs and the places you go to, your sport activities. That's family too. Be deliberate, don't isolate yourself. When you realize that you're becoming, some of us are naturally withdrawn. You are not the outgoing type. You're not the type that would go running to make friends, right? But because of your mental health, we make deliberate effort to step out of your private circle, okay? To connect with people. Because if there's anything that really helps our mental health, it's connection. navigating through self-image and digital wellness. Someone mentioned to us earlier about the girl we saw in the picture, the one that was with scanty dresses, torn clothes, and said maybe there's a self-image problem there. One of the key challenges that comes for us as young people is self-image. What people think you should look like. Has any of us experienced any of those kind of challenges before? Where people think, oh, you're not looking the particular way you should look like. Anybody here? Or you realize you just want to be able to look somehow, or you do not fit in because of how you look? Anybody?
Yeah,
Okay.
me sometimes.
Okay. You want to tell us about it?
Well, I'm a person
Mhm.
who likes wearing baggy and I like big clothes, like clothes that are like bigger than me and stuff. But then sometimes people might find it weird. And on some occasions I just have to drop it sometimes. And yeah, just because, oh, why aren't you wearing fitted clothes? You're a girl, you're this, you're that. Why aren't you wearing pink? Stuff like that. And yeah, so
Thank you for sharing that with us. And that's a big one, just like you put it, because many times people want us to conform. Now, this conformity that is being presented to us usually comes mostly through the online space. And I would always say this to any of my young friends: if you want to be mentally okay, you need to learn to take breaks from social media. The social media has a way of defining, of saying, well, this is how girls are supposed to dress. This is how boys are supposed to look. This is how you're supposed to look at this age. This is how. And then when you're not doing that, or when you're not looking like that, all your friends and everybody begins to question you. You have an image. You are beautiful the way you are. You are awesome the way you are. And you need to be able to get to the point where you can look at yourself in the mirror and indeed say, I am beautiful the way I am. So I'm going to give you this assignment, everyone in the house with me this evening. Okay, and even those who are going to see the video later. Okay, I would want you to stand in front of a mirror, call your name, look at yourself, and tell yourself, I am beautiful the way I am. Look at every part of your body. My eyes are beautiful. My nose are beautiful. My lips are beautiful. My hands, my fingers, they are beautiful. My breasts, they are beautiful. My stomach, they are beautiful. My legs. You need to hone your body. You need to be able to look at yourself and say, I am handsome the way I am. I do not have to be like any other person. Possibly I came like a split image of my parents. If my parents were not beautiful, they possibly wouldn't even find someone to marry and produce me in the first place. So for them to have met themselves and connect and all of that, it shows that they are beautiful. And beauty is often in the eye of the beholder. It's what I choose to see. Let me tell you this little story. When I was quite younger in secondary school, I of course, if you look at my complexion, you will know that this is a black person, like black. Like even in our African context, this is a very black complexion person, right? When I was much younger, I was an outstanding black girl. Like when I come into a space, I could easily be spotted out because of my black complexion. And for many years, I always felt that was ugly. I always felt, oh, I'm not pretty, I'm ugly, because I'm black. And I remember it got to a point, a friend of mine would say to me, and because of that, I don't even dress well. I just wear anything that comes. I don't even care. It's like, I give an impression of like, I don't care. Like, but really the reason was because I felt I was ugly. Like, what's the point? Added to that also was my voice. Much younger, my voice was quite very tiny. And then I would have people say to me, why are you sounding like that? Oh, and then you heard sounding like what? And then you say, you sound like a mouse or a rat. So imagine being told that. And I always tell the story of one day, because I went to the boarding house and I was in the hostel, and I was without my top, sitting on your bed with just maybe my bra and maybe my skirt or something. So my stomach was open. And I remember the girl walked by and she came back. And when she came back, she said, oh my God. So you're not just facially black. Even your stomach is black. Now, she said this and ran inside to call other girls and said, come and see, everybody come and see. This girl is so black, even her stomach is black. And I remember when she came back, I was probably, maybe this was GSS 3. Yes, GSS 2, GSS 3. So I was probably maybe like age 13 or 14. And I felt so embarrassed, so ashamed. I grabbed my duvet, that's the blanket on my bed, immediately and tried to wrap it around my body, right? This now became like a group of 4 or 5 girls all running in, and they were tearing the clothes out of my hand, holding my hands apart just because they want to see my black tummy. Now, what do you think is going to likely happen to that young girl afterwards? Believe me, I didn't like my skin color at all. I remember years after, I would try everything possible to just change my complexion. From creams to whatever it is that they said would work to change my complexion. Amazingly, when I got to SS2, I met a friend, another girl like me. And the first day she met me, she just looked at me. She was new in our school, and she just came in. She was a new student, and she saw me. I think that was SS1, maybe 3rd term. And the first thing she said to me was, oh my goodness, this is the first time I'm seeing a black and shining, beautiful girl. Now, when she said that to me, this was someone you're just meeting on the road, right? It caught my attention, and I was wondering, is she talking to me? And I remember later on, she told me things like, oh, beauty is what you call it. If you believe already that you are ugly, you are not fine, people don't appreciate your dressing, you communicate that to other people. And that's the same thing they think about you. If you begin to believe and say to yourself, oh, I'm pretty, I'm beautiful, I'm unique in my complexion, I'm unique with my bow leg, I'm unique with my K leg, I'm unique with my nose that is oblong, I'm unique with my round face, my eyes are big, that's my uniqueness, that's my signature. My blackness is my signature. It makes me stand out. And that was it. That changed my mind. Do you know, by the time I got to SS3, I competed in a beauty competition in school and I won as Miss Ebony. What changed? My image of myself. I went in for a beauty pageant and I won. Now, what changed? The same person that always felt she's ugly went in for a beauty pageant and won. Mindset. If people think that this is what you should look like, and so, okay, you're supposed to be wearing fitted clothes, you're supposed to be doing this, you're supposed to be doing that, what do you feel about yourself? Why are you wearing the baggy clothes? I remembered I used to wear baggy clothes then, majorly also because I felt that my boobs were too big. And so one of the ways to cover my boob was to wear big t-shirt. What are you thinking? What are you thinking? I remember the young boy saying to me that he didn't want to go to school because his hair was cut and he was crying. And I said, why are you crying? Well, what's the big deal? It's a haircut, is a haircut. He said, no, this particular haircut, if I get to school today, everybody's going to laugh at me. Image. Then I said to him, I said, why don't you go rocking your haircuts? Why don't you go be the style that people should look at and say, oh, I want a haircut like this boy's haircut. Why do you think they're going to laugh at you? It's what you call it. It's what you see. And these are the things that determines your wellness. These are the things that determine how good emotionally you can withstand the pressure that people are going to throw at you. Identity, belonging, the mental health journey, all of it. Do you know us moving down from one part of the world to this part is stressful already for you? When you get in here, some people here in this community, they've never seen a black person before. I'm candid with you. The image they have of black people before is, oh, maybe those Africans that are begging for food, that are poor, they're hungry. And so when they see you, what's coming to their mind is, oh, maybe he or she is hungry, poor, helpless in their country. That's why they came here. I remember my daughter saying the other day that someone met them and said, oh, I'm glad you escaped from that your country. Oh, it must have been tough, right? And it took her a lot to be able to express to the person that, no, there was no war in my country. I didn't escape. Like, there's nothing I'm escaping from. But that's a mindset. You need to be able to build a resilient spirit. You need to be able to have a strong mental capacity to be able to deal with some of this mindset that you're going to be confronted with. Oh my goodness. How many of us here uses some creative expression? Maybe you draw, you do music, you dance. How many of us? Let me just see your hand. Okay. Odulami. Okay, good. Emmanuel says he does too. Okay. Kaima does. Okay. Okay. Who else? Okay. Oh, Chinemere. Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay. David, okay, good. Beautiful. Now I'm going to say this to you. Heart is one of the major tools that we use to keep our mental health active. If there's anyone, even if you don't have any skill, don't, of course, believe me, there's nobody that doesn't have a skill. Maybe you just don't know that skill you have is a skill already, right? But being able to write, even write down your thoughts, it's something that is going to keep you mentally healthy. Being able to draw, paint, keep things, do musical, play your guitar, sing, in the bathroom, sing. And a major one that even we use for people when they start saying, oh, they have depression. There's one major one we use, even medically, and that's dance. And also always ask yourself every day, have I danced today? Dance is almost equal to sleep when it comes to your mind. So I know we've been sitting down for over an hour, and so maybe it's time for us to take a little dance. Come on, everybody, your video's on, and dance along with me. Now, this is the amazing thing about dance, especially when we use it for our mental health. You don't have to know how to dance. I hear things like, oh, I don't know how to dance. No, you also don't need to have music to dance. Just move your body in a rhythm. The rhythm is in your mind, is in your head, okay? Move your body. So come on, go. I want to see you move. Come on. Kaima, move. Good one. Yes, go on. Chidima, move that body. Move those shoulders. Come on. Come on. Good one. Yeah. Good. Come on. Move those heads. Good one. Beautiful. Good. Kaima, you're not dancing well, oh. I can't see that swag. David, where's your swag? Yeah, that's it. That's how we do it. Okay? You don't need music. And I'm going to repeat that to you. You do not need music. Whenever you remember in the day that, oh, I haven't danced today, just move your body. Okay? Movement is powerful, keeps you going. Right? Mindfulness and daily self-care practices. Let me quickly share with us some self-care practices. What I call mental hygiene. You know the way we have physical hygiene. Physical hygiene, you must brush your teeth, you must have your bath, you don't want to contact germs, you want to make sure you eat healthy, balanced food. The same way we have mental hygiene, okay? One, get support. There is no mental health in isolation. And I'm repeating that to you. As many of you find yourself, you are in your room all day, or you find yourself, most of the time you are alone. It's dangerous. Very, very dangerous for your mental health. Okay? So no isolation. Stay connected. Get out. Call people. And some people will say to me, oh yeah, I'm not isolated. I'm connecting. Where? On TikTok? Snapchat? Yeah, I'm chatting with my friend. That's not it. Your brain does not connect through chats. There is a social connection. There is a physical body connection. Do you know that on the average, on a day, you need nothing less than 3, 4, 5 hugs? Do you know that? I see that reaction. When many of you don't even want someone to touch you. But that's it. Your mind needs it. You need a hug. You need to give hugs. You need to take hugs. And you can take. Now we talk about virtual hugs. What's that? A virtual hug? It's not hugging you. That's not a hug. Go out of your room. Hug your mom. Hug your dad. Hug your brother. Hug your sister. You need connection. All right? And it's a major mental hygiene. If you're not doing that, you are depriving yourself of what's going to keep you mentally healthy. Seek counseling. When counseling is not only sought when there is a problem. People think, oh, we're going for counseling, oh, when there is a problem, maybe I'm failing in school, or I'm having one issue or the other. No, we're going for counseling sometimes just to even have a checkup. Sometimes also just to even have someone talk to you and give you tips of a healthy lifestyle, right? Or sometimes to just share your burden. And remember what they say to us, a burden shared is half solved. Is that what we're told? Good. Challenge unhealthy thinking pattern. If you find out that your mind goes spiral, your mind goes far, you're thinking far, or you're always thinking negative, like some young people will say to me, Ma, I don't know why I always have negative thoughts. You are not alone. Many of us also have it. What we've learned to do is to challenge those thoughts. A thought that says to you, you see, you are not even handsome. See, you are ugly. Challenge it. Or a thought that says to you, you see, you will not pass. You will fail. You fail that exam. Challenge it. How do we challenge? You don't challenge it in your mind. No, that's the error. A thought that says to you, you see, nobody likes you. You see, you are the odd one half here. You challenge it verbally. That's how we challenge negative thoughts. A thought that says to you, oh, you see, you will die. Oh, that man will die. Oh, that man will fall down now. Challenge it. Say it how? Say something like, no, it's not going to happen. No, I am handsome. No, I am beautiful. No, I am fine. No, I refuse to think this way. And once you verbally challenge it, the next thing you do is get up. If you were sitting down when the thought comes, you need to get up. You need to start walking around. If you were walking around when the thought comes, you need to, whatever you're doing when that negative thought is coming, you stop it and do something else. Is that okay? It's one of the major health hygienes that we keep. Challenge negative thoughts verbally. Don't challenge it to your mind. Don't say, I'm quoting the scripture in my head. No. If you know scriptures you want to, say it out. If you don't even know scriptures, you don't have it, use your mantras. I am good. I am a good person. I have good friends. I have good manners. I have beautiful family. I live long. I'm established. Say those things out to counter negative thoughts. Celebrate every small wins. That you even have a skill or that you have a talent. It's worth celebrating. That you completed high school is worth celebrating. That you even completed a term. School ended and you were part of those who fought for yourself and said, oh yeah, I'm done with school. That you entered into the university, that you resume the new session in September now that school is opening. And someone wants you to feel bad for coming into class. No. That you even showed up is worth celebrating. And believe me, no one is going to celebrate you except you learn to celebrate yourself first. Remember what happened to me about my beauty, my face, until I started believing that I'm beautiful, until I started telling people myself that, you know what, I'm beautiful. I remember that my slang there was, I'm black, I'm beautiful, I'm brilliant. So I used to say, oh, in fact, in my books, you see my heading, I'll write my name and then I'll put B raised to power 3. So when people ask me what is B raised to the power 3, I'll say black, beautiful, and brilliant. Whatever you call it, that's what people begin to say. And before I knew it, people started saying that about me. People started saying, oh, that girl, she's beautiful, she's this, she's that. Whatever you say, practice self-care. Self-care is inclusive of you being deliberate to take care of yourself. Practice self-compassion. Don't be too hard on yourself. Oh, I'm too lazy. Oh, I'm a bad child. Oh, maybe I caused my parents' divorce. Oh, maybe I'm the one causing problem for them. Stop that. You are not the faculty or the one that causes the problems with the adults in your life. You are not responsible for the problems the adults in your life are going through. Stop blaming yourself. It has nothing to do with you. Even if you think you were, like a young girl told me once that she was the one that saw her dad's cheating text message or something like that, a video of her dad cheating with another woman. And because she saw it and she was the one that told her mom, the marriage broke up, she couldn't forgive herself. No, you didn't make your dad to cheat. You didn't make your mom to be hungry. It's not you. The fact that you are in between, you are a child. And you need to always remember that you are a young person. You have your whole life. Protect your mind. Protect the 5 senses. They are the major doorways into the mind. If there's anything you're going to take away out of all that we've talked about this evening, it's those 5 doors. Your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your ears, that's your hair, and your skin. There are 5 major entry into your mind. If you're going to protect your mind at all, make sure you protect that 5 place. What you see. If you form an habit of watching porn, if you form an habit of watching sexual videos, you form an habit of watching things that are going to be depressing to your mind, that are going to come in and be challenging your mind, it's going to give you problems later on. If you listen to music that are not healthy, that are not mentally challenging, but they are more like trash and rubbish, music that half of it, they are insulting your color, it's going to be depressing for you. What you smell, what you taste, and what you feel. So be deliberate to protect those parts of you. If you do, you will be likely keeping your mental health safe. So in summary, sleep, eat good food, exercise, do a lot of mindfulness. Mindfulness is involving of all of this that we've talked about. Do spirituality. You cannot go far. You can't even have mental health without spiritual health. Remember the 3: physical health, mental health, spiritual health. All 3 works together. And you cannot have one. You can't think, oh, I'm physically healthy. Oh, I'm mentally healthy. And then you can be spiritually weak. No. All 3. You need to groom yourself spiritually. You need to groom yourself mentally. You need to groom yourself physically. Okay. And finally, always remember you're not alone. That's something you should always remember. No isolation. You are not alone. Reach out if you feel overwhelmed. Be open, talk to someone, and help somebody else who you realize is going through stuff. And that brings me to the end of my teaching session with us. Have you learned anything today?
Wow, thank you so much, Dr. Timi. I think my only regret is that we just don't have enough time to go actually to do like a deep dive, because I know that mental health topics are something that really affect us deeply, and they're very, sensitive and very important aspect of our lives, because again, when they go wrong, every other thing, comes crashing. And that's why we really want to do this. So thank you so much for sharing all of this. I would assume the students have some questions, but before we go into that, I just wanted to mention 2 things. I think for me personally, I've learned 2 important things like I didn't know before. Like one, we talked about mental hygiene. I didn't know there was something called mental hygiene. And also that depression is not a slang. We hear it a lot, like, oh, I'm depressed, or I'm feeling depressed. But now I know that for you to say that, you have to be medically diagnosed to say, yes, you are truly depressed. So thank you for those 2. And the other thing I wanted to say was like the analogy of excessive water, to measure excessive sleep. I really love that analogy, because it's something we can say we can measure, We can measure gallons of water, but we can't really measure sleep. But knowing that excess water can have, effect on our body, the same way excess sleep would. And you mentioned something about identity confusion. So I want to I know you talked about it, but just talking a bit about the example you shared and how one student made you lose your self-esteem, and it took another student to build your self-esteem. What that means is like we all have the power to build or damage other people. So we actually have a choice. And so again, my message to the students is like, please choose wisely. Choose to be that person who builds and make people shine, right? Because you never know whose life you could be saved, literally. Because I'm sure if you were in the West, you could have maybe contemplated suicide because it's common here. Or maybe online bullying and things like that. But thankfully you were in West Africa where kids can't even contemplate that at that time.
And it's amazing that I actually did. I actually attempted it. Not even
can you imagine? I
attempted suicide twice. Can
you imagine? Thank God I didn't go through, because we wouldn't have the pleasure of meeting the beauty. I mean, like the B raised to power 3 lady, right? We wouldn't have seen the beautiful, the brilliant. And what's the last one again? Beautiful and black. Yes.
And black. Yes. Black, beautiful, brilliant.
Thank you. We thank God that didn't happen. So thank you. And it's good to see someone who actually contemplates sharing her own experience. And like not everyone can afford to go to that level of vulnerability, especially when talking to kids. But sometimes kids don't need people to just talk. They need real life examples, because something they can relate to. It means that not only kids go through pressures and depression or whatever it is, like, that adults go. And when adults are willing to share, it helps them connect to that. So thank you so much. Now, the question I want to ask is for someone who's going through a hard time at school, maybe being bullied and not sure how to handle it in a safe way. One of the things I found shocking when I came to Canada newly was bullying happens in schools. And when victims fight back, they get punished, but the bully walks away.
Yes.
I found it hard to believe. And I just kept waiting, like, who should I talk to? So now that I have students who already experienced that, or who would experience that in the upcoming academic year, what would be your message to them on how to manage bullying crisis?
Okay, thank you for that. That's a very perfect, very good example of what actually many of them go through. And my solution for that always, and I always recommend this, I use this even back home in Nigeria and even here. For me, I gave you an instance. If you heard the story I shared earlier of time when all the students came in and were dragging my clothes, that's bullying,
Absolutely.
Talking about, oh, you're black, you're this, and they are dragging my clothes. That's bullying. I've also had experience of students actually even ganging up together to flog me. These were my classmates, and many of those things, I realized that the major challenge we have is, as young people, we feel that we shouldn't talk about these things. We feel that, this experience you can't share with anybody, because one, you could be threatening to say you don't tell people this. If you tell this, okay, and you keep it to yourself, or you're just feeling embarrassed that how can I go through this and tell? And I'll tell you another example right here in Canada. One of my boys was in school and was actually having some level of bullying going on in his class, and he responded to the person like fight back, and the next day I got an email saying, no, your boy is this and that. But what saved the situation, and I realized going forward, and that's why I tell every young people that speaking out is going to save you more than silence, because what saved the situation for us was he didn't speak out. He didn't tell us what was going on. It was my neighbor. My neighbor saw this same group of boys throwing snow at him after school, like outside school, and hitting him with the snowballs. And she called my attention and said, I saw a group of boys attacking your boy, right? And that way, I took it up with the school and I wrote them, and I had to tell them, this is going on, right? This other person, you said my son is bullying because my boy fought back and all of that, is because of this. Now, one key thing I need every young person to understand is the system here does not understand verbal exchanges. The system here works more with written exchanges. So if you're going through anything, you need to let an adult know, let them write them. Say, don't feel, oh no, if I talk, they're going to do more. The more damage that will be done is if you keep quiet and there are no records. So someone does something to you today, tell your parent, tell someone so that they can email the school or write it down somewhere. Let records be kept so that when you fight back for any reason, the records that they have will be brought out. And that way, you'll be able to justify your action at that point. But if there are no previous records, it will be tough to defend you. Okay, so that's one. Secondly, is when bullying happens, there are so many techniques. And that's why I keep talking about isolation. Don't isolate yourself. Don't isolate yourself. Get your friends involved. Let them know that this guy is always talking bad at me. This girl is always doing this to me. Let your friends, because when they know that you are not alone and that you don't walk alone, and that's why I say, please don't do one man army. Don't do it alone. Get the support. Use your friend, use your parents, use every technique, and you'll be able to fight this thing called bullying. Is that okay?
Thank you very much. I mean, I love the responses because it was the same response to that. I'm like, okay, well, there was no record of bullying, so nothing could be proved.
Nothing, yeah.
So, but now I hope they are learning, because going back to school, if you're being bullied, sometimes people are scared of what the bully would do to them. Like, oh, I'm telling, or like snitch. There's a word for them. Snitchers don't snitch. Or something. I can't remember what they say, but they have a slang for them. So they're trying to protect the bully, which is unfortunate, and then the bully gets away. But sometimes the best way to protect yourself is to stand up to the bully in the right way, which is talking to an adult about it. Now, you mentioned something again. You said don't do it alone. Some of the other challenges kids in school face today is peer pressures. They want to belong, that sense of belonging. They want to, and then some of them, when they believe they don't fit into certain groups, they want to do everything to impress. And sometimes doing everything to impress could also mean drinking, using drugs, alcohol, just to show that you are man enough or girl enough. Excuse me. It's just to show that you're man enough or girl enough to belong to that group. So how can our youth learn to be more resilient even in the face of such pressures? Sometimes it's okay to be alone, right? It's better to be alone than to be with the wrong clique or the wrong group.
Exactly.
Because it's going to put them even in a more dangerous situation. But again, how can they manage peer pressures in a way that doesn't affect their mental health so badly?
Good. Thank you. Thank you for putting that balance, especially when I keep emphasizing don't try to fight back alone, right? The reason is because many times people have tried that and you don't have a witness, you don't have someone on your side to say this is what happened and how it happened, okay? That is where not doing it alone comes in. You need adults, you need parents, you need friends that could stand by you. On the part of, do you really need people in your life if they are not going to be positive influence for you? Maybe not. And this is how it comes out, okay? Every one of us has a capacity to make at least 1 or 2 friends. You don't need a group. You don't need 3. You don't need 4. You don't need 5. You don't need to belong. You just need to be able to have a good friend. And when you have 1 friend, 2 friends, and you can be together that are positive influence to you, and you need to be able to weigh it very well. Is this friend worth it? I always say this to my young ones: friendship is not by force. No, friendship is never by force. Absolutely. And I also always say this, and I'm going to say this to every young person listening to me this evening: don't let friends make you. You make the friends. Don't let friends choose you. Don't let someone come meet you and say, oh, I like you, I want to be your friend. And that's how the friendship starts. You need to look at a person. You need to ask yourself, do I want to be friends with this person? You need to make that choice. Don't let them make the choice for you. Because when they make the choice for you, it's like they're doing you a service. And you now start stressing yourself to meet up because the person felt so honored that I invited you into my clique. No, excuse me. I'm a clique alone on my own, right? That I'm even agreeing or asking you to be my friend is also a choice I can make. And so I always say this to them when someone comes saying, I want to be your friend, don't jump on the ball. Don't jump in. Don't jump in. Tell the person, that's all right, thank you. Just give me a couple of days to think about it. What that does is it lets the person know, oh my goodness. So you're thinking about it. Yes, I'm going to think about it. I'm going to ask myself if we align. Not just the moment you tell me, can I be your friend? And then I say, oh yeah, that's fine. We can be friends. No, please don't do that. Because you will struggle to get out of such friendships because you were brought in. So learn to make your choices. Sit down and ask yourself, what kind of friends do I want? Maybe it's academic friends. Okay, what kind of grades must that person have if I want to be a friend? I remember that I had to give myself some measures at some point, and I said to my friend, anyone who doesn't have this kind of grade cannot be my friend. So you need to put your own, it's like having a pedestal, but that's it. It's you, it's your life, it's your mind. And it's precious enough to be preserved. So please put out your whatever, your parameters, okay? These are the friends I want. A friend that is educationally, a friend that is not over social. What are your own? List it. Oh, a friend that is spiritual. Because if you don't have a parameter, anybody comes, anybody goes, right? But if you're able to have your parameter already, you will know what to look out for. So if ever people come close to you, you will ask yourself, no, this person doesn't fall into the category of people I want to be friends with. And that will help you to make choices for friends. Okay? I hope that was helpful.
Very well. So thank you for mentioning that, because in our first class, I think we mentioned something about value alignment. So the values need to align with the people they're going to make friends with, because if you meet people with misaligned values, that's when you begin to have conflict. And before long, you have identity crisis, because you're no longer who you think you should be or who you really are. And that's when people wake up and like, I don't even know who I am. And then they are lost in that sea of, identities, and like it becomes an issue. And then before you know, it begins to affect mental health. So I think that's the two major questions I had. I know we're like far gone with time, but I think we needed to have that. Thank God it's being recorded, so we get a chance to go back to this. So I don't know if anyone has any questions for Dr. Timi before we wrap up for the night. Something that we've not mentioned. Remember, you're going back to school. Some of this will be your reality very soon, but you need to go to school prepared, mentally, physically, and otherwise. No questions? No comments?
I have a question.
Or a question on behalf of your friend.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
What if the bully threatens you, if you tell anybody, I'll kill you or something like that?
Good.
Okay. Thank you. That's a good question. One key thing you need to know, first of all, about any bully is the person is afraid of you.
Yes.
People bully you because they feel threatened by you. So there's something about you that threatens that person. It could be your look. It could be your quietness. It could be your academic performance. There's something about you that the person is jealous about, that the person feels threatened about. Okay? And so you already have the upper hand because you have something the person doesn't have. And that's what the person is attacking. That's why the person is attacking you. And that you need to remind yourself so that you don't get overwhelmed by the threat of that person. Now, one big threat that is never taken as a joke or taken with levity is when someone says to you, I'm going to kill you, or I'm going to make you die, or I'm going to harm you. We don't take that as a joke. It's a crime, like a legal crime, for someone to use any kind of life-threatening threat. Like someone is said to someone the other time, I'm going to drag you on social media, like bully you on social media till you fall down dead. It could look like a slang, right? Like, oh, I'm going to drag you till you fall down dead, right? But the use of that word dead is enough for you to make the report that you need to do. Now, maybe the concern would be, okay, if I report, this person said it's going to kill me. That's why when you make that report, you make it loud and clear. This person said he's going to kill me if I report. Just yesterday night, a young girl had said to me that she was told that on so date that some people have planned to jump her and stab her with a knife. Right? Now, as adults, she said that out. We need to start thinking straight. Okay, so what do we do before that day? Do we wait till that day? Do we take action before that day? That's now the adult's responsibility. Once you tell them, okay, your own is to speak out. Speak out. Don't keep it. Because what the person wants is for you to keep it, to be quiet, and to threaten you to silence. You beat that. Beat it. Be able to say, no, I'm not going to be silent about this. I'm going to speak up about it. Is that okay? Good. David, your hand is up.
Before David talk, I just wanted to add something to what Dr. Timi said. When someone tells you, if you tell, I will kill you, that's another mental bullying actually going on there. It's another form of bullying beside the physical one, because they want to put you in perpetual fear, and the fear will cripple you. You won't be able to do that thing that makes you shine, which they're already jealous about.
They want to silence you. That's the
just want to silence you and just make you what's that word? They just want to make you shrink from who you really are, and then take away your shine. So don't give them the power.
Yeah. Is that okay? The major thing you should always remind yourself is you cannot silence me. You can't silence me. Always remind yourself, okay? Because the major goal for any of them is to silence, make you a coward. All right? And that you shouldn't give it to. David, you have a question also for me before we go this evening?
Yeah, I wanted to ask two questions. Number one, if someone is already giving up, what would you like them to hear? What small habits will you be able to change their mood or something like? That's the first one. And the second
giving
one
up on what?
Huh?
Giving up on what?
It's already giving up on life, it's already downcasted, has already been battered and bruised,
Okay.
So what would you like the person to hear,
Okay.
And the second was what would be if you want us to go with one thing, what would that be?
Oh, okay. So the first part of what to say to someone who seems to have given up, okay, possibly a friend, possibly someone who seems to be dealing with a lot of mental health issues, or they are just battered here and there, and you are the friend, you want to encourage that person. I told us earlier that I struggled with my own mental health also as a child, as a youth, as a teenager actually. The two attempts I took to take my life were between the age of maybe 13, 14, and 16, right? And just like with Christine, Auntie Christine has said, that you could be that friend, you could be that person who helps someone, or you could be that person who drags them down. And in both cases, I always tell people have been my strength. When I was being bullied and pulled down, it was people. When I was rising up again, it was people. So being there for that person is the first key thing you could do for them. Being available, being there to allow them share with you, to talk. You don't often need to know what to say back. You don't even need to say much to this person. But being able to say, you know what, I think we need to speak to an adult. I think we need to get help for you, could go a long way, because you cannot take on the burden of the emotional weight that this person is going through, and they will likely dump on you, right? So being able to say, I know Auntie Christine, oh, I know Uncle this, oh, I know this Dr. this, I know this person, you could speak to them, that's one key thing you can do. The other thing you can do to someone who appears to have given up or is to let them know that they are important to you as an individual. To let them know that if anything happens to them, if no one is going to miss them, you will miss them. To let them know that in this world, they are important, that the world needs them. Many people who commit suicide do so because they think nobody needs them, nobody wants them. So when you are able to communicate that, you know what, you have skills, you have talent, we're going to miss this. If you're not on earth, we're going to miss this part of you, will go a long way to help the person to begin to put perspective to whatever it is they are going through. And like I said earlier, you don't have to take the weight on your shoulder. You are a child yourself. You are young yourself. You can't carry the mental weight of someone else. It's always better to take it to professionals, so take it to other people that can help them. And even if that's all you can do for that person, you will have done a lot. Okay? Channel them, lead them to where they can get the appropriate help that they need. Is that okay? Now, you also said, what is it that we can take away from this meeting? Like I said to you earlier, if there's anything I want you to take away from this meeting, is to guide the gates to your mental health. Guard them jealously, especially the gate of your eyes, your ears, your mouth, your nose, and your skin, the 5 senses. Guard them because they are the major pathway into your health, physical health, mental health, or spiritual health. What you see determines how healthy you're going to be. What happens to your eyes, even physically, if you watch a lot of screen, you're on the phone for your phone screen time, put on phone screen time, let your phone tell you how many hours you are on the screen in a day, in a week. You'll be amazed how much strain you're putting on your eyes, the pressure that you're putting on the eyes. Oh, or then you're seeing porn, or you're seeing violent movies, you're watching or you are on the game all through. They are not healthy for you. Guard the gates. Guard it jealously. Your ears, the music you listen to, the things you hear, the slang, the words, check it out. Your nose, why are you sniffing? Are friends giving you drugs to sniff? Are you taking in some, ingesting some things through your nose? Or you're tasting it? Or it's drugs? Or it's cannabis? Or whatever it is. Guard your senses. Your skin. The skin part majorly comes through sex. When we talk about the skin, we usually make reference to it from the sexual angle. Do not give your skin carelessly out. Do not casually engage with your body. Guard it. If you can guard these 5 things, if you can always remind yourself that, okay, as a young person, if I can guard these 5 things, jealously protect these 5 things, you will be able to maintain a good physical health, good mental health, and good spiritual health. Is that okay?
That's powerful.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, David, for that question, because I'm glad you mentioned it. It's always good to what's one thing to take away. And thank you, Dr. Timi, for the expanded explanation. Just to add to what Dr. Timi said to David, if you remember when she said, when you're talking to a friend who's already given up, say, we need to talk to an adult, it's not just you. She's just making reference to we. That means you're a part of the solution to the person. The person is not, you want to let the person know that I'm here with you. I'm here with you all the way. It's not a you problem, it's a we problem. And so that makes and let the person know you matter, and so just like she has mentioned, once you make them feel that way, that they're going to be missed if they decide to, take their own life or anything, it could begin to make them, start rethinking their plans and start and being open to seeking help, and so as you can always reach out to me, you can reach out to Dr. Timi or any other adult at your school or even your parents, because we all need that support system. Yeah. Thank you both. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anyone else before we wrap up for the night? This has been a very interesting session. I really enjoyed it. Any comments, questions before we wrap up? All right, and since you don't have any, I just want to say thank you again, Dr. Timi. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on board this evening to give to do justice to this very important topic that sometimes could be the elephant in the room. People don't want to talk about mental health related issues because no one understands, or we just don't know how to go about it. But thank you for the way you've explained it to us, even to the layman's explanation, that everyone understands the different aspects of mental health, the difference between mental health and mental illness, and even mental hygiene and all aspects to it. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you for the incredible work you do in the community. I know it's not just the youth you talk to women, you talk to couples, you do a lot of things for the community. I think your goal is to bring families, to continue to keep families together, which translates to a healthy community. So thank you for what you're doing. I believe we are a sub part of that community that you're building. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you everyone also for listening, for not being bored. Okay. And please remember to dance.
Yep.
Dig it up. Okay. Good. Yeah. Please remember to dance always. All right.